So the Ways and Means hearing that's going on, or that will resume at 6, is talking about the tax bill. There's been some changes to it. Does that indicate that you have the votes for, I mean, I know it's constantly changing, but you have 25 votes for that essential package?
I think it looks good for moving the bill out of the Senate, maybe as early as tomorrow, but you just take it one step at a time. First Ways and Means, then we'll come caucus on it. I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't a few more amendments before we're done, but...
Do you think it could be off the floor tomorrow?
It's possible.
So what amendments would you anticipate?
Well, from the other side of the aisle, I imagine there'll be a large number. You know, it just, people find, come forward with issues with specific pieces. Sometimes their language changes, sometimes they're substantive. We've been reviewing the different components of this package with Senate Democrats for quite a while. So I think we're headed towards being able to support our budget with a revenue package this weekend.
Do you think you're giving the public enough notice on some of these proposals that get rolled out? 119 page, you know, whatever, striking amendment with virtually no public notice.
Oh, you know, all the things in our proposal, I think, have been in one of the proposals that already received hearings. The governor came out with this package with several of these pieces, the House, the Senate. So there may be a few pieces that are new, but I think almost all of them have been.
Is your B&O pack
under
B&O tax ad? It's.
I believe that was in the House package. So
the House one was talked about certain professions, so I wasn't clear whether yours matches up.
I'm not sure if it matches up exactly. It's very similar. It's the same.
You think that you've given the public enough insight into what you're doing then?
Absolutely, and plus we're far from done yet, because whatever happens here still has to go to the House. Whatever happens in the House has to come over here. So there's several pieces of this that still have to occur, and the public's weighing in all the time, both in the hearings as well as emails and letters. And obviously when you're closing tax loopholes, there are interests that have been responsible for putting those loopholes into place, and they have lobbyists out there, and I think they're weighing in as well on behalf of their clients.
Is there a reluctance sometime to open up too much because you think members are going to be peeled off by various lobbying interests?
You know, I have to say, I came in the early 90s when things did emerge in the middle of the night, and I think our processes are much more transparent than when I first entered the legislature. Lots of proposals out there, plenty of opportunity for people to weigh in, certainly plenty of opportunity for amendments to be drafted, and I don't think members are being somehow secluded from outside influence.
Can you go just the chronology at this point? If I understood some of the timing, if you move your revenue tomorrow, you're still on track for March 11th finish. If you don't, it pushes it to Sunday. Just the time exchange conference puts that in doubt.
It's really what happens in both houses. I think the House is considering moving the budget tonight. If that happens, and if we move revenue, we're both still moving. So there's still a lot to resolve. There's a lot of differences. I think the Secretary of the Senate just told me we have 85 House bills that are up for concurrence. You know, some of those things can get resolved very easily. We just agree to accept the changes and vote one more time and it's over. But some things can have pretty big sticking points, and obviously we still have a ways to go with respect to resolving the differences in the budgets and the revenue packages.
Is the sales tax going to be one of those sticking points?
I assume it will be, but I don't think we're going to know for sure until the House actually passes a revenue package.
But aren't they going to take yours and amend it, or are you looking for them to put theirs out there so you have two revenue packages?
They'll have either option. They can do.
Which are you suggesting?
It doesn't matter.
What are you and Frank saying to each other? Which way do you guys must have worked out which way you want to do it.
And it doesn't really matter. It's just we don't really care which vehicle it is. So if we get ours off the floor first, I assume they'll amend theirs onto ours. They moved theirs out of Ways and Means first, so if it would have come over here, we would have amended ours onto theirs, so we'd have one bill to reconcile.
Beyond yesterday, is there any more serious discussion about the income tax proposal?
Well, we definitely have had conversations all along among Senate Democrats about what were the options for creating more fairness in the tax system. I think there was some frustration that it was hard to do that in the midst of actually balancing this budget. And then the idea emerged, well, we could still ask the voters if they want to make a change like that. So that idea is still moving forward. People are talking about variations on it, and it's not clear to me what exactly would move out of the Senate at this point, and we would want to have some indication that the House was also willing to do it. But many of my members think it's a great idea to give the voters that opportunity.
Any important bills of yours or Senate priorities die over in the House today?
Yeah, there are some Senate bills that did not make it out. I think the community solar bill didn't actually emerge. That was a important bill to Senator Rockefeller, our tuition bill. From a Spokane perspective, I think our phosphorus, keeping phosphorus out of fertilizers bill, which was important for the cleaning up the Spokane River, didn't make it. You know, there's a list of probably of 5 or 10 things, and that happens. I'm sure the House has their own list of 5 or 10 things that didn't happen over here.
One of those was the overseas voter bill that came from the House. And what happened there? Why didn't you want to take a vote on that? I got the impression there was a strong bipartisan support of it.
I don't think that there was. I think we just ran out of time. It went fine in caucus, and it was on a list. So there's just literally more bills than we have time to do.
You weren't worried about Senator Omeg maybe making headlines, having some good tape for some his amendments and conversation?
No, I don't think so. I think he was an opponent of the bill because he thinks the internet security, the technology hasn't advanced enough to really secure those ballots. But like you said, I think there were plenty of votes for the bill. I think we just didn't get to it.
One of the bills that didn't get out of the Senate just now is one on local excise taxes, and it had some provisions there for Husky Stadium.
My understanding was that the striking amendment that Senator Murray put together in consultation with at least some input from the county executive's office would have created more flexibility for King County with those revenue streams. It's always been a controversial bill for the last however many years we've been considering it. I think there's a lot of consensus around making sure the arts get their piece of funding that they were committed to a long time ago. But then when you start to broaden it out into housing, mitigation for the International District, what the King County funds are, and whether or not they're limited or not limited, it starts to get pretty complex. And we didn't believe we had enough support to move it.
How about the all-mail voting bill? Any idea if that didn't go through today?
Yeah, there was a lot of support for that. We always get mixed messages from Pierce County. I don't think it's any secret. Senator Franklin is a big opponent of that bill. And on the last day especially, we're looking at how long things are going to take on the floor, and generally trying to move things that are a little less contentious.
Things got a little contentious there at the end over the